A national supply chain experimental prototype demonstration lab is needed to address the context of the National Strategy for Global Supply Chain Security. Using the Software and Supply Chain Risk Management Assurance Framework as a foundation, and an advanced technology vision based on IBM Watson's cloud computing offering using cognitive computing applied to supply chain security, the goals and challenges of resilience and supply chain disruption, product integrity and the corruption of product components, and efficiency and timely supply chain operation are specifically addressed. The criteria for success of the National Supply Chain Experimental Prototype Demonstration Lab will be assessed according to the feasibility and technology maturity of IBM Watson itself, the domain readiness of the supply chain risk management assurance community, and implementation ease. In addition to feasibility, readiness, and ease of use, considerations for moving forward on this project include cost, performance, schedule, and responsibilities. To engage partners in the adoption of the Software and Supply Chain Risk Management Assurance Framework, and to promote and demonstrate the IBM Watson Advanced Technology Vision, the National Supply Chain Experimental Prototype and Demonstration Lab is envisioned as a joint partnership among DHS, DoD, NIST, and IBM, along with other partners, with an initial operating capability milestone objective of second quarter 2014. In the White House statement on National Strategy for Global Supply Chain Security, two goals are set forth. One, to promote the efficient and secure movement of goods by enhancing the integrity of goods as they move through the supply chain. Two, to foster a resilient supply chain by mitigating systemic vulnerabilities and reconstituting the flow of commerce after disruptions. The approach is to galvanize action by stimulating partners to act. One approach is to foster a 5-level maturity framework based on level of commitment, engineered flow of control, process risk management calculation, and global challenge strategy to manage supply chain risk based on careful identification and understanding the distinctions between factors, sources of risk, and problems in the calculation of supply chain risk. There is the need to collaborate and engage partners as a means to better understand global supply chain threats and risks, to improve threat detection and information sharing, to build resiliency and absorb shocks and maintain continuity, to improve capacity, and to advance global standards. The vision for Software and Supply Chain Risk Management Assurance Framework is to advance the assurance of smart and trusted assurance policies and practices for both government and industry. The Supply Chain Risk Management Assurance Framework focuses on the infrastructure of management, engineering, process, technology, and skills needed to acquire, field, and operate trusted, competitive, and austere software-based supply chains with intelligence and confidence. To engage partners in the adoption of the Software and Supply Chain Risk Management Assurance Framework, a National Supply Chain Experimental Prototype and Demonstration Lab is needed. This advanced technology lab is envisioned as a joint partnership with an aggressive initial operational capability milestone objective of second quarter 2014. Using the Software and Supply Chain Risk Management Assurance Framework as a foundation, and an advanced technology vision based on IBM Watson's cloud computing offering using cognitive computing applied to supply chain security, the challenges of resilience and supply chain disruption, product integrity and corruption of product components, and efficiency and timely supply chain operations are specifically addressed. IBM Watson Cloud Computing, applied with the Supply Chain Risk Management Assurance Framework, promises consequential outcomes that address some of the next steps called for in the National Strategy for Global Supply Chain Security, specifically advancing technology, building resilient infrastructure, priority standards, improving commercial, and engaging industry partners. IBM Watson experimental prototype involves an assertion and questions to be probed. The assertion: IBM Watson would be a game-changing advancement in program acquisition and supply chain risk management assurance. The probing questions span technology maturity, domain readiness, and implementation ease. Is IBM Watson as a cognitive system at the inflection point of useful application in program acquisition and supply chain risk management assurance? Is IBM Watson a game-changing advancement in program acquisition and supply chain risk management assurance? Can IBM Watson be taught the deep semantics of program acquisition and supply chain risk management assurance? Numerous considerations are at play in considering, evaluating, and realizing an IBM Watson experimental prototype for supply chain risk management assurance. These include feasibility and technology maturity of IBM Watson, including availability of IBM research support and collaboration, domain readiness of the supply chain risk management assurance community, including the availability of the right information and data, implementation ease as an enabler to widespread framework adoption, including fitness for use within acquisition and supply chain community, affordability, cost, and funding sources, performance and responsiveness, schedule, the second quarter 2014 initial operational capability, and finally, tasks and responsibilities. The IBM Watson experimental prototype next steps are outlined here. IBM would conduct a first-cut feasibility assessment to address the question of technology maturity. On technology maturity, is IBM Watson as a cognitive system at the inflection point of useful application in program acquisition and supply chain risk management assurance? The result of this assessment is a go-no-go decision. With a go decision would come involvement of IBM research and expert support. DoD, DHS, and NIST would conduct a first-cut domain readiness assessment to address the question of domain readiness. Domain readiness. Is IBM Watson a game-changing advancement in program acquisition and supply chain risk management assurance? That is, does the DoD, DHS, NIST supply chain community have the data and information needed by IBM Watson? The result of this assessment is a go, no-go decision. A joint team effort would conduct a rough order of magnitude cost estimate, assess affordability, and determine funding sources. The result of this is either a go, no-go decision or a decision pending outcome. The joint team would conduct schedule planning and an assessment of the second quarter 2014 initial operational capability. The result of this is either a go, no-go decision or a revised initial operational capability schedule. Here is my contact information. I would be happy to receive questions and have discussions with people on this important subject.